last little story, okay? Because I've been going too long. I've lived in Washington. I was living in Washington for about 6 years, and I was asked by some Filipino exiles in 1981, I think it was, or 82, to go speak at Lafayette Park. At the White House is right across the street from Lafayette Park. I always tell friends, I speak at the White House a lot. And there was a big megaphone, and I speak at the White House. I said, you speak at the White House? Yes, I speak at the White House. With these microphones. And so there I was, speaking, you know. And these Filipinos were so appreciative, it was so moving to me. Oh, Michael Parenti, would you speak? And so I give this speech and I talk about the Philippines. What I said to you, the Philippines are not a poor country. Only the people are poor. It's rich and they should preserve their own heritage, blah, blah, blah. And I said this whole thing and on. And here's this little band, about 200 people, about half Filipino, half American. And you know, and I look at this, and then I look across at the White House. You know what I see? I see about 600 police. Their helmets, their guns, rockets, fists, everything, cars, whoop, whoop, all this stuff, all over there. And I see limousines, a fleet of limousines comes up. It's Marcos, President Marcos, coming up to the White House porch. You can't see, the actual porch is blocked off, but you can see the limousines go up there to get hugged and kissed by Ronnie Reagan, because he's a great defender of democracy, this Marcos. And I see this, and I see all this display of power. And I see these Filipino heavies, the securities, they come around, they're looking. They're looking at the Filipinos, like checking them out. They recognize anybody. You know. And I'm standing there with our little, brave little band of 200 people with our signs, and we're walking around chanting. And I do what a lot of people do in this situation. I start to bleed inside. I start to say, my God, look at that power. Look at that wealth. Look at the force. And we got this little band of people, you know. And then after I gave my talk, I wandered over to, we had a fence up and we had a display of pictures of Filipinos who have been tortured and found dead. Grisly photos by the Marcos people. And a Marcos security guy, a Filipino thug, plain clothes, comes walking up. And he looks at the pictures, standing next to me, and he goes, and he sort of smirks, like, you know. And I never had such a feeling. I wanted to really, you know, give him one upside his head. But I've outgrown those days. And I'm saying, look at this. They got it all. What are we going to do? And look what's happened 3 years later. Just look what's happened. This incredible transition. Democratic forces mobilized. And this Marcos just blown away. Just remember who has the source of power. When the people get it together, they have a strength like nothing seen. When the democratic forces move, the forces of reaction must retreat. And these great generals and dictators and presidentes who sit there in their big palaces with their boodle and their corruption and their bayonets and their guns and their spies everywhere, they get thrown off just as a stallion would thrown off a little fly. So we speak truth to power. Just remember that. Speak truth to power. Mobilize, organize, never be sad. Remember what the great Italian communist Antonio Gramsci said, you have a pessimism of the mind, but an optimism of the will. You see the worst, you consider the worst, you work against it, but in here, you work for what is freedom, for what is justice, for what is right. It is our destiny, it is our future. The future itself depends upon it. Thank you.